Hi, Paige here, the 1 Foot Flipper. Today we're going to talk about eBay YouTubers who are quitting to go back to work. Stay tuned.
1 Foot Flipper.
1 Foot Flipper. Hey everybody, Paige here, the 1 Foot Flipper. It is Thursday, about 11 a.m. And I think today's subject is going to be the reselling economy and the state of the American economy are such that now even YouTube resellers, they're quitting full-time eBay and going back to the workforce. This is not a great reselling environment right now at all. Some people are killing it. Some people are doing okay. Some people aren't making it anymore. They're not being able to pay their bills with eBay anymore, or even eBay and YouTube, or whatever combination of, and they're just going back to work. The free money COVID days several years ago, they're over now. But we still have a lot of those sellers that cropped up during that era still hanging around. That has not balanced out yet. Meanwhile, the cost of living has been through the roof for the past couple of years, and income is down for most full-time sellers. I made less money last year than I did the year before. Wasn't a huge difference, but it was definitely less. And food costs have been through the roof. Like, why are they trying to sell a 2-liter of Coke for $3 now when it was $1 3 or 4 years ago? And a lot of people have been hit by huge increases in insurance premiums and property taxes as the supposed value of their homes have increased, even though nobody's buying. And even eBay decided, hey, we're going to increase the fees on orders over $10 by an extra 10 cents. Doesn't sound like anything, but that's going to be another 1/10 to 0.5% of overhead for everybody going forward. I almost wish they would have just put it on everything. Then I could, how I like to make fun of the 99-cent shipped card sellers. Then it would have just made that much worse, and then I could have done it more. But okay, I'm not here to make I am not here to make fun of card sellers today. They have enough problems of their own. Hey, let's do a few sales. It's been a good weekend for sales so far. Matter of fact, if I sell one more thing today, my trajectory is going to go from all-time low, which is right I'm at right now, to actually spiking towards going up again. Had 2 different people try to combine shipping comic books, which my comic books usually sell in a lot that exactly fills up a priority flat rate, and other items. This person bought this lot of indie comics and this Batman Cycle $13.31. I'll try my best to combine shipping, which they asked for, but I don't know if I actually can or not. Sold 3 CDs, the same person. My message, I've told you before, when somebody buys a media item or something, I've got lots of similars, and it's pretty early in the day, I'll send them a message, hey, you buy any more CDs today? I'll refund the shipping on them. This person took me up on that. They bought Robert Palmer, Sneak and Sally Through the Alley, $2.61, and then after getting my message, they went back and bought the Beau Brummel's Greatest Hits and Lou Reed for another $7.21. So I tripled the size of that order from a message, and it's really not going to cost me any extra shipping. I can ship 3 CDs. 3 CDs is still £1 media mail rate. Sold a bunch of wooden stamps to the same person. I'm glad she finally got what she was looking for. She really wanted this stamp, but was not happy with what it cost to ship this stamp, and I couldn't do anything about it. She'd accepted an offer and then didn't pay and asked me to get the shipping down. I said there's not really anything much I could do. Any amount I could reduce it by is not going to end up mattering. All I can really do to give you a real good deal is you need to buy multiple stamps, because it's going to cost money to get this moving no matter what I do. And she did today turn around, bought 4 stamps at once, $12.93. And since we did talk about combined shipping in the past, I'm going to go ahead and extra combine her shipping and refund her any overage if there is any. Not sure if there will be or not. Sold this old SPI Wargame Phalanx, $53.99. This took about this took 2 or 3 years to sell, but I also did get this when COVID money was still flying around and items like this were at inflated prices, but eventually it did catch and sold. Tim Curry, Read My Lips, $8.91. The person who bought this also got a message about, hey, any more records, free shipping. They wanted to get comics with free shipping, and I can't stick a flat rate priority bag of comic books into a medium mail package, so unfortunately had to say no on that. Cast iron grill, emeralds, $15.94. Not too bad. I sold a 1949 Clue board game, just the board. Last time I went out and bought stuff, I went to a community sale, and I noticed they had an old Clue set up for $5. I took a look at it, and I'm like, oh, there's an extra board in here. I'll buy that. I bet the board will at least pay for the whole game, and it did. I sold the board for $13.96, and I paid $5 for the whole game with the extra board. The whole game's still up if you want a 1949 Clue, although the whole game is a 1950 Clue. The only difference between them, as far as I can tell, is the color of the picture on the board. Sold a Warhammer Squig Catapult for the Orcs, $19.04. Cabbage Patch Kids clothes, a sleep sack, $11.09. All right, the Power of Collectibles they no longer make. These are Orc Tin Boys for the Warhammer game. These have not been in the game for many, many years. These two guys sold for $93.21. Just two basic metal figures. Sold a lot of 5 Donna Summers albums, $25 even. All right, that's all the sales for now, but hopefully there'll be more. So, I know several YouTube resellers who've recently had to go get jobs, or they've announced their intention to do so. Josh Galt just announced it quite publicly. He blanked his channel, although his podcast is still up for now. I know Anthony, Dragon Master Finds, he recently had to get a day job. Check out Anthony's channel. I don't think most of you have heard of him or are watching him. I'm going to put a big link to it below. Chris, the old school picker, he's left the YouTube part of the equation, still selling on eBay, but for some other real life opportunity. While Cincinnati Picker, supposedly one of the best, he's went and got himself a real estate license, because apparently that's going to be more lucrative. And I know several smaller channels who've just quietly gotten jobs, and they haven't announced it on their channel, so I'm not going to out them there. I wish them the best of luck and hope they can go back to full-time soon. The fact is, this is just a really tough environment right now. So don't go beat yourself up if you don't get the sales you want. Or if you need to go back to work. Or if you just aren't ready to go full-time yet. This would be a terrible time to go full-time. I know some people will tell you, if you're going to go full-time, you should start during a slow time to see if you can hack it. I just don't think that's true. I don't think you should necessarily start out during the most difficult possible times. If you're going to learn to swim, should you start learning how to swim when there's a hurricane? Or should you do it when the waters are calm and smooth? I think you should do it when the waters are calm and smooth. This is not the time to go full-time. And hey, don't go comparing your sales to your favorite YouTuber's sales. Our buddies, your buddies, my favorites with 50,000, 100,000 subscribers or more, most of our friends they're making a middle-class income or better just from social media alone. Then on top of that, they have their normal sales on eBay, their viewer sales on eBay, and their surprisingly successful Whatnot auctions on top of that. Or in the case of the District reselling site, they are directly getting a cut of all their fan sales. If the Crazy Lamp Lady wasn't getting enough money from social media and viewer sales, she now also gets a 5% cut of the sales from 2,200 district sellers. Think about that for a minute. So speaking of district and Dibdit, how is that going? Or as American Arbitrage recently said, I sort of forgot we were still doing that. Any of you involved with that? Let me know in the comments. There doesn't seem to be a way to view sold items there, so I can't do anything like research sell-through rate or do anything to determine how that site's actually doing. And then, here's the thing. All the cross-listing in the world isn't going to fix the current supply of sellers versus demand of buyers imbalance. In fact, all this extra cross-listing and everything else is going to do is create more work and lower profits for everyone else, as you're either putting more work to cross-list manually or the cross-listing services are taking a cut of everything. The fact is, if the worldwide demand for 1987 Ninja Turtle figures is 39 of them per month, then 39 per month are gonna sell, and that cross-listing did nothing for the overall macro state of things except reduce profitability. So you might ask yourself, what can I do in this environment, Paige? What can I, average, extremely attractive viewer of Paige's channel, do? And yes, the stats right in YouTube say that my viewers are extremely attractive. It's right there. The little meter shows like 9.8 out of 10. I don't know how you guys do it, but keep it up. I would suggest trying to reduce your own expenses and lifestyle to ride it out if you're not too far off, and if you don't want to go back to work. Now, luckily, my wife and I didn't increase our lifestyle all that much after our income more than doubled, so a reduction in sales right now is not killing us. If you're an everything seller, not just a specialist, then try to source essentials and things that businesses need instead of things that Timmy wants. Source office supplies, copiers, tools, repair parts, and essentials instead of trading cards, vintage toys, fugglers, and unopened high-C ecto cooler packs from the 80s. Yeah, that stuff is way cool, but that stuff is what people buy when they have extra money. And your mainstream extra money people don't have extra money right now. Now, luxury items bought by actual wealthy people, those are still fine. Actual wealthy people are doing great right now. Market's up, interest rates are high, which makes them more money. They're doing great. But if you're selling that sort of stuff, you have to realize the difference between what actual wealthy people buy and what poor and middle class people buy aspirationally. Here's the thing. Actual wealthy people do not buy $300 purses or $200 Nikes. They're either going to buy a very normal price level of those items, or they're going to buy much more expensive ones. And they're not going to buy that stuff to try to make themselves look wealthy that cost nothing at their income level. Okay, got a few more sales. I'll have to put a photo up on the screen because I pre-boxed this. It's a Warhammer Armor Cast Eldar Grav Tank. This is made out of resin, not plastic, but it's a third-party product. Sold for $90. I took an offer on that. Pointer Sisters Breakout, $4.39. Todd Rundgren DVD, $2.39. It's dipping towards the minimum price point that I'll even deal with, really. Some sort of handcraft model train motor switch thingamabobber, $6.10. A Night at Studio 54, $15.24, double LP. That's pretty good money for a multi-artist album. A lot of those are hard to sell. A Tupperware bowl, $5.30. That's all for now. So, let's say, Paige, how can I prepare to ride through times like this in the future? Okay, first I'm going to stress this for everyone, not just resellers. Live below your means. You expect to have $3,600 income for a month, then you should not be budgeted to spend $3,580. Second, resellers do not need car payments. You don't have to impress the Bobs at work with that new Lexus. And a self-employed person can probably handle the car being in the shop for a few days without their life falling apart. Or you can do like what my wife and I like to do, which is there's two of us that drive, and we've pretty much always got at least 3 licensed vehicles. They'll all be at least 10 years old. They'll all be paid for. The insurance on them costs nothing. Oh yeah, you don't go having full coverage insurance on vehicles that are 10, 15, 20 years old. That is just lighting more money on fire, because if you actually did have a claim, they're going to pay you almost nothing, and then your rates are going to triple. You don't want any of that. If that 16-year-old Toyota gets in a wreck, if you wreck your own 16-year-old Toyota, destroy it, just go buy another one. You don't need full coverage insurance on that to end up with $800 after the payout, and then you still got to go buy another one. Oh, hey everybody, I'm down here in the basement. I've been digging through new levels of Death Pile. You can walk in front of my bar again. You can walk behind my bar again. Fortunately, the top of it is still covered, but boy, am I making progress. I'm getting into Death Pile that actually predates me selling on eBay. Like, this closet here was full of Death Pile parts, things from leftover hobbies that I no longer engaged in, and things like that, and I'm digging into all that now. So when garage sale season actually comes, I will have room for stuff. Sales have been going pretty good. No real complaints there. I'm not $300 a day like I was last year and the year before, but this has always been my slowest time of the year anyway. I'm still at about $200 a day, so not too terrible, especially since I don't need to make any particular amount of money. And this is generally the slowest time of the year for both reselling and for reselling videos. Did you know that people lose interest in reselling videos January, February, basically during the winter when there's not garage sales going on, and probably when they don't have any money to spend either? Yeah, that's a real thing. If you look at various people's view charts that have been around a long time, there's always a huge dip in views during the winter time. So today I think we're going to talk about pre-sale scams. Now, pre-sale scams can be on eBay, but they can also be anywhere else. I'm specifically talking about them because apparently there's some sort of pre-order for some sort of $1,000 Donald Trump shoes. Now, I think that's kind of weird because I wouldn't think that Trump's core audience would be interested in bling bling tennis shoes or basketball shoes, but I could be wrong there. I don't know. But one thing I do know is that political collectibles, specifically produced political collectibles, tend to be a terrible investment in the first place, because people are most interested in them when their candidate is running, and then they lose interest later on. But anyway, what's happening with these shoes is people have bought their pre-sale, they've got their pre-sale order for these shoes that still don't come out for months, and they're selling their pre-sales on eBay for incredible amounts of money. $7,000, $8,000, $10,000. Now that gets you into what I like to call the pre-sale scam. They cannot possibly ship this item until it is past the point where people can file anything with eBay for not getting it. I'm so glad my wife decided to start texting me a bunch of things that I've known for hours just now. Where was I? Oh, the people cannot possibly receive these Trump shoes until it's already past their time to make any problem with eBay. That's your first problem. Second problem is a lot of people are actually doing the I'm selling a picture of these shoes scam. And your third problem is that you should never do a pre-order on anything ever, for the most part. Because here's what happens with pre-order collectibles. Say like you've got your local baseball and magic card shop, and the owner sees the writing on the wall. He knows he's going under, and there's nothing he can do about it. Or maybe he thinks he can save it. Either way. So he takes tons of pre-orders for the upcoming new Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And Magic sets, setting great prices. He's got that new Topps outrageous basketball card set. He's got pre-orders for that at the best possible prices. And then what happens when the product comes out? Places close down. Doesn't exist anymore because he already knew he was going out of business. He either used the money to pay all his employees that he owed money to, or he managed to transfer it to himself via many different methods that those sort of stores can use. And that's it. You don't get a product. You are just one of many, many creditors on that store's bankruptcy. Or, and how I say they can easily transfer money. Hobby shops and things like that, they buy things all the time, right out the front. And all that hobby shop owner has to do to transfer all that pre-sale money to himself is to purchase a bunch of things from people who walk in off the street and then put all that money in his pocket. All he's got to do is ring it up on the register and then put all that money in his pocket, and taxman doesn't know any better. And business goes under anyway. But let's say that it wasn't set up to be a scam in the first place. You still have this problem going with your pre-sale on any collectibles. If the value of the item goes up, you got that new Topps Premier Basketball League set, and you got your pre-order in at $100, and by the time the set releases, that box is selling for $150, you know what's going to happen? That store is going to cancel your pre-orders. Oh, sorry, man, didn't come in. Refund you.
I know what must have happened. It didn't come in.
However, if the price goes down, you paid $100 for the pre-order and they're only worth $70. The market price is $70 at time of release. Oh, they're not canceling your pre-order, and they're not letting you cancel. So it's a situation in which you can basically only lose in. So don't pre-order anything. Really don't pre-order anything on eBay. eBay's not really set up to do pre-orders. They allow it in certain things. But just in general, say no to pre-orders. You're going to have nothing but scams, problems, or not getting your item in the first place. All right, let's look at a couple of sales here. I sold a Flying Age magazine for $6.45 from June of 1945. It's still upstairs. I sold an $80.99 Yu-Gi-Oh! Playmat. I got 4 more of these bad boys available. And I'll unroll this a little bit, but I'll show a picture on screen. I sold this Combat Zone Pinup Girl poster from 1986 or so, 1988, which I got from ADH Dave from one of his live auctions on Whatnot for $29.68. Yeah, only sold 3 items today. It's only 4 o'clock. It is a Tuesday. Beginning of the week's not always good for me. Of course, lately, every day of the week's not always good for me. Speaking of Whatnot and everything, if you're a content creator, you might want to watch out of changing your channel and your business focus over to things like Whatnot or Dibdit or the live auctions, because a lot of your viewers are watching you for the fantasy life. They want to live that life that you're living, that free life of selling on eBay, and it's not just the selling on eBay, it's the whole life. It's the, on some YouTubers, you see the wonderful shed and the nice house and the beautiful family, the children, the attractive children who don't talk back. It's all of it. And when you start deviating away from their fantasy, they're going to lose interest because they don't want to sell on Whatnot. You start breaking that fantasy for them. Or they don't want to sell on Poshmark or whatever it happens to be. I think Whatnot's the big one, because a lot of people, zero interest in ever selling anything on live auctions, and that they realize that the most successful people on those are going to be people with a huge YouTube following. And not everybody wants the YouTube following part of that fantasy. I guess what I'm saying is, if you've got a good thing going, don't mess it up by changing what you're doing too much. All right, I gotta go upstairs. My daughter's been home for a few minutes, or got her a new mattress today. She's had the same one since she was a little kid, and she's got her a thicker, more grown-up one now, and we're gonna go see if we can't install that, and then I'm gonna work on making some dinner. I almost said making you some dinner, but I'm not making you dinner because you're not here. If you were here, I would make you some dinner. All right, catch you soon. As far as selling, to prepare for the future, always be looking to get rid of your physically largest items first. But you don't have to be as aggressive about moving small, valuable items with stable prices. Those things are what can get you through the bad times. A big $30 stereo taking up a huge chunk of shelf space is something you want to flip over and over again. You want to move that space as many times as possible. But if you've got one drawer in the corner that has $10,000 worth of trinkets in it, you can afford to move those slower. They are not, the amount of value they are holding compared to the value of the space they're holding is insane. And you only need to discount those if you actually need the money. That way, if time does come and you need the money, you start discounting those items, and they will sell, and those will get you through the tough times. And in the current environment, CDs, certificates of deposit from the bank, they're actually paying money these days. So consider in any month where you overperform, have extra money, consider getting a short-term CD with whatever the extra money was for that month. Short term, I mean a year or less. Sometimes they have them for 13 months. Somewhere in that 6 to 13 month range. And if you keep doing that, you're going to have those CDs coming to maturity almost every month. And if you've got yourself a slow month, don't roll the CD over. Drop it back into the bank. Let it help you cover that bad month. That's something that my wife and I do as well. Now, in the future, if interest rates go back to how they have been most of my life, that won't be a very good plan anymore because you're just locking up money in something that doesn't pay anything. But right now, with CDs at 5%, it's worth doing. All right, I sold 3 records for right at $15 total. Wishbone Ash, Santana, and Rasa. Everything You Do Is Me. I sold a stack of Cricut software / books / whatever these things are, $20 plus shipping. I took an offer on that. I think I still had it at $30. People have been watching the thing since $50, but nobody take any offers or send any on it. Summoner Wars expansion deck, $7. Got this for $25 at a clearance sale at a local game store. And this is a bag of Warhammer Terminator metal body parts. I'd had this up at $50 for over a year, but nobody'd ever sent me an offer. Nobody'd ever watched it or anything else. Somebody sent me a $25 offer on it today, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I was way off. I just took it. Now it's gone. So, in good news, I got fitted for my prosthetic leg yesterday. It's actually kind of funny. My regular prosthetic guy comes over, laying on the bed. He's taking all the measurements, and at some point I noticed, he's completely up on the bed because he had to be to take the measurements. And I'm like, what if my wife comes home and finds me in bed with a man? And I just kind of giggled to myself about it. But he got all the measurements done, so now I just have to wait for them to make it. And the leg socket is what takes forever. It's a multi-step process. Because they take the measurements and they design it in the 3D thing. Then they make a test one. Then if the test one fits right, then they make the real one out of the space age carbon fiber. And that's the real one. And then I'll be able to walk again like a human. Well, no, not like a human. I do not walk like a human. I walk more like a robot who has an internal gyroscope that's messed up. But at least I still do walk. So, hey, everybody, thanks for watching. If you know anybody quitting YouTube or eBay, tell them about my channel. I could use the subs. Hope to see you again soon.